It's a 1-2 punch on our pocketbooks, folks. While the government been figuring out how much money to borrow from our grandchildren in order to dribble it out to we the people, or a select few anyways, the Fed's been dropping interest rates like hot potatoes. Which means that by the time we get whatever they decide to dole out, we'll be that much closer to having the same value as monopoly money. And all the while they acting like they're doing us a favor. That's how they get reelected. Keep us fooled into think that they're actually working for us. But there's a long-running plan that suffered a few setbacks back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That's been funneling money and property into the hands of those few lucky enough to have been born into or adopted by the original bankers that have guided, or rather blackmailed, governments into doing their biddings for hundreds of years. The American Revolution was a valiant attempt to break those chains. The Constitution was written as a guide to help us keep those vultures at bay. The current resident of the White House, while destroying the nation's military, global reputation, and the functions of the regulatory agencies, has been sucking up every penny it can find and directing it into the coffers of those corporations and bankers that pull the puppet strings. Slashing the budgets of domestic programs as he jacks up the take that winds up in the hands of his favorite few. Look at next year's budget. 7% increase for the Pentagon, while slashing hundreds of billions of dollars from domestic programs that provide for common welfare. As for the all too loyal opposition, Redcoat Reed, master in the art of capitulation, works the Senate rules in order to ensure that the shrub's every wish will be fulfilled. Not hard to understand once you realize that the same people controlling the self-proclaimed decider control the flow of money that keeps Reed in office. And Pelosi, poor little powerless Pelosi, whose only public commitment to office is to not make waves or rock the boat that will hopefully sail the Democrats into power this fall. Privately, of course, she's indebted to the same moneyed interest as the other two I've mentioned. On the surface, there still exists a difference between our two major parties. But for too many Democrats, it's but a thin veneer that, when peeled back, reveals that the bulk of our government is marching in lockstep, intent on destroying that grand experiment that was, and might still could be, the Democratic Republic of these United States. I'll end with this example. no matter how often I reread the Constitution, I find not a single solitary mention of presidential signing statements. You know, or should, those statements wherein he declares that the law he's just signed does not apply to him. And neither body of Congress has yet to call him on this. A blatant proclamation that he is above the law, and only 24 representatives and a few senators are willing to stand by their oath of office and claim that he should be held accountable. Now, into the circle file.